In this video, I'm gonna show you how to light and shoot a music video. So we're at Sean's piano right now, and we're gonna be using this Steinway Tiffany. And so we actually came in the other day to move pianos around so that we could fit this right in the middle. We didn't, before it looked kind of like a car dealership. We had all the pianos around, lined up. And so we actually moved them all to this room because we want this to be in the center. We want it to be our centerpiece. And so whenever a client asks you to do something, don't be scared to move stuff around. That's usually what they expect of you. So the first thing you usually want to do is find out what kind of backdrop you want, figure out where you want to be shooting most of your footage from. I usually take my camera with me and hold it up and see what it looks like from each spot. So I kind of like this backdrop on this side. I thought about shooting over this direction, but there's too many paintings on the wall in my opinion. And there's kind of this back room here. So we've decided that we want to shoot towards this direction. So now I'm going to figure out where the talent looks best. So I'm going to look through my camera again, and I do like this backdrop a lot. It looks pretty good with the pianos. There's nothing too distracting. And so we're going to have the majority of our shots pointing this way. So now we know where we want to shoot from. Now it's time for the lights. First light we're going to use is a softbox. These work really great. It gives a really nice soft look on someone's face. So especially if you're shooting up close, these are good because it hides any blemishes. So if you see in camera, it's a very nice soft light. But we're gonna turn off the overhead lights now because they don't mix very well, and these are kind of not very good lights for this. Usually with one of these lights, you usually want it a little bit higher and facing down. Then it gives a nice shadow right here. Kind of thins out the face a little bit. And so you can see this isn't high enough, but I need it a little bit low because this thing needs to hide this because we don't want to see this. We might even end up moving it back a little bit, but we'll see how it looks on camera later. You can see we're getting some spill light on the back, and I don't want the back really lit, and so I'm going to move the light a little bit. Usually you'll get like an egg, what's that thing called? An egg carton thing? The egg crate? I'll put a picture over this, but you usually want one of those things so it helps control the light a little more, but we don't have one of those, so we just have to be a little bit creative. So we're just going to point it away from the wall a little bit. But as you can see as I move it, it doesn't change the light too much on his face, especially because this is a very soft box. And so you might be wondering why we put this on the opposite side. You see how his face is still pretty dark? So you usually want to do that because it gives it some depth. If you just make his whole face super lit, it makes it more of like a soap opera look or a news report look. Some music videos do have it. Maybe I can show you what it looks like if you put it directly in front. So in my opinion, this doesn't look nearly as good when it's directly in front of him and there's not as many shadows. That's why we're putting it on the other side. One thing you'll notice is that his hair blends a little bit with the back, so we're gonna add some more lights. So we wanna give some separation. Okay, now you can see with it on that he's separated from the background a little bit better, like part of his shoulder's lit, his hair is lit. So I'll just flip it on and off so you can see what it looks like. So I like the way that looks, but if in the middle of shooting, if I don't like it, then we'll change it. Now a lot of times I don't use a third light, I usually just use 2 lights on people, but this seems just particularly dark. And usually I would move the key light a little bit more in front of his face, but the piano's in the way, so that's as much as we can go. So I'm gonna add a fill light. So watch this, watch how his face lights up a little bit. So I'm pretty happy with that look. None of this is law, really. A lot of it is just preference. So if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. If you like another look, then do that. I think we're done with Casey. So now we're gonna look through the camera to figure out where we want Allison to be. And we're not gonna be moving a lot in this video. Allison will probably be staying in the same place about the whole time. So Allison, can I have you move this way? More. Okay, that's probably good. And then look that way. Okay, great. So you can see, obviously, we can barely even see her. So we're gonna light her pretty much the same way we lit Casey. First light, our key light. Also, one of these soft boxes. These are really good. This is a little bit of a nicer one. This is the Aperture. The other one was a newer one. The brand is called Newer, much cheaper, but it looks about the same. So now we'll flip this on. So you can see for Allison also, I lit it on the opposite side of her face so we can see the shadows. The shadows, I think, look pretty good. Now, we're gonna try and give her some more background separation. So we're getting a light panel here to light the top of her head, kind of her back a little bit. Delete that. So now, looks pretty good. All right, so we're using our slider right now. So this song, the beginning, like most songs, the beginning is a little bit slower, so we're gonna have the slider moving a little bit slower. And as it picks up, I'm gonna change the settings on the slider, go a little bit faster. And so typically for music video, you wanna do, some people do as little as 5, some people do 20 takes, but for each take, you'll do 1 lens, 1 focal length, and you'll film the whole thing on that. And then for the next one, you'll do the whole thing maybe tight. The next thing, you do the whole thing wide. You can do it a different way, but that's typically the way that I'll do it. So right now we're using the Sigma 18 to 35. This is going to be a little bit wider. The rest is going to be a little bit tighter. So we're setting our slider here. Do all these wide shots, so both Allison and Casey are in it. But for future shots, I'm going to do some where it's just one at a time. This piano is $1 million piano, so we want to show off the sound. So we already recorded it. We don't want to use just cheap camera mics. So we recorded it beforehand, and so now we're going to do the video recording. And so we're going to hide the speaker. It's going to be playing back on here, and then our talent will just follow along.
Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly.
Okay, so now we're gonna move this to get detail shots of the piano, because we want to show off this piano because this is, like I said before, it's $1 million piano, so we want to show what it looks like on the inside. But these sliders are a little bit hard to move.
Barely even friends.
Okay, so we just finished shooting. Got lots of wides, mediums, and tights, so we're gonna stitch it all together in post. If you want to see what it looks like, be sure to stick to the end. If you have any questions at all, be sure to let us know. We'll catch you next one. See ya.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. Just a little change, small to say the least, both a little scared, neither one prepared. Beauty and the Beast, ever just the same. Certain as the sun, rising in the east, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Beauty and the Beast, tale as old as time, song as old